Meisner drama teacher used to say, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and be grateful that you still can.
Hey.
I think, first of all, there have been many humans that have walked these streets, and before they were streets, these pieces of the earth before us, and I'm pretty sure that each and every single one of them who have called this place home have felt what it's like to be outcasted and to feel diminished by others. And I'm taking this moment right now to acknowledge that I'm sure each and every single one of us knows what that feeling is. And I encourage you to tap into it a little bit more when we're thinking of who things belong to and who they don't belong to. And that was my land acknowledgement. I'm gonna try to hold this microphone. It's not super micy, but that's kind of cool. When I was a young child, I started having poetry that channeled through me. And when I say channeled, I mean my teacher didn't say, hey Phil, write a poem, and then I went and did it. It was something that just I felt, and then I wrote it. And I didn't understand what was happening in that moment, but I felt like art was being created. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. And the first poem that I ever wrote, a part of it went, tears are what I feel at night. Tears are what I feel when I hold you tight. Tears come from my brain and into my eyes. And right now I feel tears because I am going to die. I was 13 years old. I wasn't going to die. But I thought what I wrote was pretty cool, and I shared it with my best friend, and she just looked at me and she said, Phil, are you okay? Like, she was concerned, which looking back makes kind of sense, but in the moment I thought, oh wow, my art must suck, and I must suck. And I felt hurt, and I felt small, and I felt like I sucked. And I stopped sharing my poetry with anybody for 15 years. But I didn't stop doing art. It was actually around that time that I started doing acting. I loved acting. I loved playing a character because when I played a character, the words were written for me, and I was told exactly when to say them, and it was the most liberating thing in the world because I didn't have to be me. I didn't have to know who I was at all in order to do theater. And what I started to notice later in life was that not knowing who I was and just spending 15, 20 hours a week being characters of other people was that I started to have physical pain in my body. physical pain resonating in my body as kidney stones, shoulder aches, and different back pain, and it got to the point where a few years ago, that Meisner drama teacher named Robin, who I started taking her class, she looked at me straight in the eyes and she said, "Phil, you're in a desolate state." She saw me. It was the most seen I'd practically ever felt. And what I was seen as was desolate. Desolation. Luckily, I have not felt or been that desolate since then, because I was finally seen. And in that moment, I was able to really unpack what was going on with me and how much pain I was in, and I was able to actually work through that pain through real art, which is not just pretending and acting and putting on a show. It's creating what's in you to create. That's real art. It's creating what's in you to create. And as many of you here today know, I've declared that on March 3rd, 2022, I will be selling one of my framed photographs for $10 million here in Yorkville. And when that sale happens, it will be the most valuable photograph on the planet. And how the heck is that gonna happen? Well, what I've learned is that through all this work that I've been doing, what I've learned is that every answer ever is available to us. What's really important is the question we are asking. And so the question I'm asking here today is, who are we creating? Who are we creating ourselves to be? Who are we creating our leaders to be? Who are we creating our friends and family to be? Who are we creating our neighbors to be, and our community and our artists? Who are we creating? Because, like it or not, you are creating me right now. The only way that you can experience me is through your own consciousness. Every single one of you is creating me right now. I am creating me for myself, and I am creating each one of you through my consciousness. And so how do we do that? Well, all that pain I was in taught me that the way we do that is usually through the words of other people, through what other people told us we should be doing. Who are leaders, how we should be creating our leaders, how we should be creating people, how other people told us we should be creating people. That's how we create people, rather than intentionally and with a purpose to actually create the future that we can be excited about, rather than one we are terrified of. And so, how will I sell my photograph for $10 million? Well, you can decide right now that this Philip, he's loony, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's a silly wacko, or you can decide that he's damn right. And so, how anything is created is through each and every single one of us deciding that something is going to happen and then making it true. And so that is how it will happen. And that's why you're all gathered here today, to help rebirth ourselves, because we are rebirthing ourselves every second of every day. And the question is whether or not we're doing it on purpose. Thank you so much. And I think we have Alex to come up for a final song. Woo!
You dare to dream.